Yo, yo, yiggity yo, yo. What's that word, man? It's yours truly, Corey Eugene. Back at you with another one. I have a testimony. I've grown to realize that God puts us through things so that we can bear as a witness to other people. You know, how can you bear witness to people about things that you've never been through? You can't have the glory without the story, you know what I'm talking about? I was sort of starting to feel convicted, you know, because God didn't really let me go through everything that I went through. Just to be quiet about it, you know. Into the realization that suffering in silence was hurting me more than it was helping. I feel like he sort of want me to share some of the stuff I've been through. Just to bear witness to somebody else that might be going through it. To empower them or get them hope. Or to inspire somebody else, you know. Rather than being bitter over the people that do you bogus or may have like sinned against you or done wrong. You can more so brag about how God got you through it. How you lived through it. How you made it through it. I'm still here for a reason, so therefore, that's even more reason for me to show a degree of gratitude. Because, you know, it's hard to be, you know, upset when you're showing gratitude, when you're being grateful, you know. So I'm going to go ahead and share something that's sort of been on my mental a lot lately. I was so hesitant to share this at first, right? Because I was over concerned with not really wanting nobody to get in trouble or ruining somebody's reputation, you know. But then I came to the understanding that it wasn't about ruining nobody's reputation or calling anybody out on the wrongs that they have done or do to me. I don't really have to do that because the Spirit will convict accordingly. Me personally, I have been the victim of food poisoning on multiple occasions. Throughout the course of my life, both known and unbeknownst to me, you know. I'm sure the intent behind it was malicious. Very intentional, no doubt, 100%. But I can say I'm grateful to still be here, still be alive and in my right mind, you know. I'm sure there's a lot of people that have experienced something like this. You know, God can use like bad stuff for a good purpose. And I will say that one thing that having experienced people putting toxins in my food, it's made me more cautious and less naive. I don't just go eating after other people no more. God, he sort of opened my eyes to my gluttony and my impulsive eating habits that might have led me to just have my guard down enough for somebody to just, you know, swindle me into putting something toxic in my food for me to consume. You know, so it's definitely made me more cautious of who I eat after. He taught me to discern spirits, because people will serve you poison with a smile on their face. Yeah. One thing I will suggest to those who have experienced such a thing, if you do have a strong distrust for the people around you, or suspect that somebody is doing this to you, first and foremost, I say cook your own food. That's number one. That's the best option. I say watch who you eat after. Don't consume anything you don't see anybody else around you eating that self or haven't tried that self beforehand. And don't be impulsively gluttonous and just eat something you see just laying around, sitting around. It don't really matter who it is, you know. If somebody is offering you food and you do struggle with the insecurity of you don't know if something's been in this, or maybe it's somebody you know, because folks get to feeling some type of way when you, for example, somebody may cook you something to eat, but you being somebody who's been a victim of food poisoning by other people, it's a trauma that you're dealing with. So therefore, you'll ask them, hey, can you eat this for me first so I know nothing's wrong with it? And some people might take that shit personal because they'll be like, oh, man, I never do that to you. But they don't even understand that it's not you making it about them. It's not even about them in the first place. It's about, it's about something that you've been through and something that you experience. So with that being said, it's going to shape how it's going to have some type of effect on how you interact with other people. Take it like, okay, maybe you wouldn't do this to me, but I know somebody that did. And to be honest, I'm not doing the most for addressing that this is how I feel about meals that's prepared for me. Because some people will try to make you feel like you're doing the most just because you're using your wisdom. You're not falling for the same traps over and over again. You're being cautious. You're being more mindful. So it's nothing wrong with that. Okay, maybe you wouldn't do this to me, but I know somebody that did. So with that being said, I'm going to be wise and use my brain. I'm going to move different in the future, if that makes sense. If somebody cooking you something, you want to try it, I say ask them, hey, can you taste this first so I know ain't nothing wrong with it? Mind you, after you explain to them the background behind it, the reason why you would want them to do such a thing, that you've been through a traumatic experience or this, that, and the third, if there's any good intent behind what they giving you to eat, it shouldn't be no problem with them tasting their own food or what they cooking. Especially if it gives you the assurance that, okay, this person has good intentions for me, they wouldn't do something like that. It really, if I'm being honest, it really builds trust. Honestly, bro, if a person genuinely love you, they are not going to criticize you for you addressing your traumas to them and stuff that make you uncomfortable and stuff that you're dealing with. If anything, they will try to make you feel more comfortable. They'll try to give you that reassurance that you're looking for. They will try to, mediate the situation so that, some sort of resolve can be achieved instead of making you feel wrong for how you feel, instead of invalidating your feelings. You know what I'm saying? But, that's just for anybody who's ever had a similar experience as me or is going through something similar, Because I've had situations where people have cooked for me and it's looked delicious, Good food, stuff like that. But me being what I've been through, I'd be like, hey, can you eat that for me first so I know ain't nothing wrong with it? And then people get offensive. And they'll just be like, oh, don't eat it in the first place. But the thing is, it's not that I don't want to eat. It's just I've been through situations where if I eat that could possibly do harm to my body. And I'm not sitting here saying that's what you trying to do to me, but I'm sitting here saying that I'm trying to minimize the risk thereof. Do you catch my drift? It's not really something that should be took personal unless you're somebody that's, committing the act itself. But my thing is, the Bible is real, bro. Mark chapter 16, verse 18. But I'm going to start in verse 16. He that believeth and is baptized shall be saved, but he that believeth not shall be damned. And these signs shall follow them that believe. In my name shall they cast out devils. They shall speak with new tongues. They shall take up serpents. And if they drink any deadly thing, it shall not hurt them. They shall lay hands on the sick, and they shall recover. So with that being said, that gave me ever more reason to know that God is with me. Because after being under suspicion that people were, putting stuff in my food, it may have had some type of effect on my body where I felt it afterwards a little bit, but it didn't kill me. But assumed is the intent behind food poisoning occurring in the first place. Mission failed. We'll get them next time. They shall take up serpents, and if they drink any deadly thing, it shall not hurt them. They shall lay hands on the sick, and they shall recover. Now, mind you, these words are in red. So that means these are words Jesus spoke himself out of his mouth. These are literally signs of believers. This is not a cry for help. This is me knowing what I know. These words came out of Jesus' mouth himself. So how can you say the Holy Spirit doesn't reside in a person when you attempt to do harm to them or act maliciously towards them and they overcome? This is biblical proof. How can you be upset when evil plans against a person fail and that person shows evidence of being a believer, shows evidence of the Holy Spirit residing in them? How? And for all my people that done been through something like this, bro, or just for everybody in general, always discern the spirit. When Jesus went into the wilderness and fasted for 40 days and 40 nights, I think the first thing the devil tempted Jesus with was food. In which Jesus responded with, "It is written, that man shall not live off of bread alone, but by every word that proceeded from the mouth of the living God." And that's something we should take into account in our everyday living. Don't let these niggas swindle you, G. Weapons form, but they don't prosper. Even when people do evil towards you, knowingly and unknowingly, when you protected by the Most High God, he fight all your battles for you. You don't even have to retaliate, G. Really don't. I don't fit the aesthetic of a everyday pastor, preacher, apostle, bishop, evangelist, whatever the hell have you will. And personally, I don't give a fuck to at all. Never really did. But I will say this. Always be mindful and careful of how you treat every living creature walking on this earth, because you never know what they mean to the Most High God above. The weapon may form, but it'll never prosper. And that's my testimony to y'all. God bless.